Hey there, welcome to the virtual table. I have a video game to talk about. It's called Expeditions Rome. I have dabbled with it. I am by no means good at it, and I don't even know how far into it I really am. Not very far. Let me just reassure you. I did make it through the tutorial, but I'm having a good time with this game. And let me get into the audio and just lower the volume a bit so it's not too overwhelming there. But this is called Expeditions Rome. What kind of game is it? It is a hodgepodge of like several. First off, it's a hex-based tactical game. Like, um, I don't know why I'm going blank, but it's a hex-based tactical game. Man, oh, what is it? Like Fire Emblem. That's what I was trying to think of. Like Fire Emblem, or I'm sure there's other ones out there. So it's got a little bit of that. It's got a little bit of XCOM in terms of you're going on missions and then you come back and you have a base with economy that you need to upgrade. It's got a little bit of RPG. It's a mix of a lot of things. And it's really hard to put it in one category. Is it perfect? No, but I'm actually having a lot of fun. And so I wanted to share it with you. Um, I can squeeze in a good few hours here before I have to leave on my trip. I by no means are going to be able to finish this. I think a campaign of this would take many, many hours. I honestly don't know how much it takes to finish. But let's dive in. I want to show it to you and how the mechanics play in and what I like about the game and some of the things I don't like about it. But I mostly like it. And let's go. It's called Expeditions Rome.
In the year of Lucius Licinius Lucullus, Rome was prosecuting several wars of self-defense, most notably in Greece, where Lucullus himself was commanding the legions. With everyone's gaze directed at the provinces, few could have known that a seemingly inauspicious event in Rome would become the central fulcrum around which the fate of the Republic would turn. The paterfamilias of a venerable patrician house had passed away unexpectedly, and a senator by the name of Vitellius Scaevola had made a bid for the hand of his eldest child. His widow alone believed that Scaevola had poisoned her husband, and now strove to take his place and claim his property through marriage. Acting in secret, the widow arranged for her youngest child to be taken out of their villa in the dead of night and smuggled out of Rome.
Okay. I sometimes I need things to be spoon fed to me. I don't know why, but so in this case, that child that's being smuggled out of the room, that's us. That's we actually play. We're that child. The man who died was our father. The other person, of course, really did poison him, as far as I understand from the story. I know I'm spoiling it a little bit. Um, so we're being smuggled out of Rome for our own safety, and we're going to learn that as we play. Um, so now we have to create who we are, and of course you could be a man or a woman in this game. It's uh, pretty even there. And so I get to pick who are we. That one looks dead serious. Yeah, we'll be that one. So do I want to be Paulus? No, we're gonna be. Well, here's the other thing too, because you heard the name Lucullus, 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 and I I don't know if every Roman person had names like that, but if I went into a time machine and traveled back to Rome, I would be laughing too much. Um, and I'm sure they would laugh at our names too. But anyways, we could be Jeffivius. Yeah. And then what's the family name? And everything ends ius. So I is there any begins with a J? Because we could be Lucullus Jeffius Jefudus. There isn't one that begins with a J. Um, well, here we go. This will at least be is it Giganius or Giganius? Is it Ganukius or Janukius? Because Jeff Janukius, right? Jeff Giganius. We'll do Giganius. Jeffius Giganius. Uh, uh, Javunius. I don't know. I just enjoy this way too much. This should not be this funny. Um, uh, so that's what you. I gotta use another because I'm gonna get confused. So this is even funnier. Our nickname Bob. All right. So I'm sorry. Oh, those silly Romans. All right, that's good enough. I don't. You know, like they add these to games where you can customize your character, and I more or less couldn't give a crap about these features in all my games. But let's keep going. All right, 1 second. Sorry, I was being contacted. Um, okay, this is more RPG. So, do you want to use the power of your authority? So basically, you need to do what I say because you know, I'm Maximo. Um, or do we want to use logic to win our arguments? Or pathos, which is using rhetoric or emotional manipulation. Um, so it's really interesting the choices here, and this whole Roman culture thing. I don't know how accurate this is with the Roman culture, but I actually think that there is some semblance of truth to it. That just by being who you are is enough. Um, so all I can tell you is the way this translates into gameplay is there's a little bit of choose your own adventure, and for example, I hit a section where I had to answer riddles, and because I chose logos, which is the like if I'm choosing for me, that's who I would be is logos, because that's typically how I approach life, right? I'm not into the authoritarian nonsense, and I can be emotional, but I don't view my emotion as manipulation or rhetoric. I just am tired of somebody being dumb or or stupid or lazy or whatever. But anyways, in the case where the logos helps me is we had a section where we had to solve riddles, and I didn't even have to type anything. My logos just solved it for me. Um, there are times when you're trying to convince somebody to do something for you, and one of these other options will show up and it'll be grayed out because, and it says that there is a chance to get a second technique, which would be interesting because whenever these little logos pop up, they're almost always like the best possible outcome. So, anyways, let's keep going. We're going to play normal difficulty. We will play with combat death turned on. I will recommend turn it off if you want an easier game. Like if you don't want to go easy here, you want the regular difficulty, turn that off, and then you at least don't have that problem. Iron Man is definitely not recommended for your first playthrough. I don't feel like I'm ready for Iron Man. I don't feel like I'm ready for either of these either. The normal is hard. Let me just put it that way. I struggle sometimes with normal, but I can reload my save. I can try again, and then I do eventually win. And I am sort of learning some techniques, and I'll show you. But keep the combat death on. It sounds scary, and it is, but it's actually to me it's a good way to play.
Did you hear me, Domine? Your body is surely present, but your mind seems somewhere else.
So here's the choose your own adventure stuff. All right, so still thinking about
Our
what happened.
departure was very sudden, I know. But do not dwell on the past. Better to focus on what's coming at you. I asked the Triarchus how close we are to Lesbos, but he would not give me a straight answer.
So there's some responses like, the sooner I can whip my blade, the better I'll feel. I mean, that's like, okay, calm down, Cujo. And then there's a, I wish we never had to leave Rome. And, I don't know, like, it's almost like the porridge is too hot, porridge is too cold. And sometimes I don't like any of the responses, but this one is at least okay.
Indeed. In his defense, there are many islands on this sea, and they mostly look the same. Will you check with the Triarchus? Hopefully he will give you a clearer answer. He told me his name is Geminus.
So this one, it didn't matter which ethos you chose. There's an option for you. You won't see this again.
If nothing else, you do have a way of making unreasonable people see reason. You should also go and thank Quintus Aquilinus. I do believe he saved our lives with his timely appearance at the villa.
Okay, this will end the conversation. And when you see that symbol, the question marks are, of course, questions. Most of these are flavor.
Thank you for bringing me along. It will be wonderful to see my homeland again. Your mother paid Geminus handsomely to set off in great haste under cover of night. 2 others did board with us, also bound for Lesbos. Young Gaius has been pacing impatiently over there, wearing grooves into the deck. There was a gladiator too, but I don't know where he went. Do not worry. The Vitellius brothers have no reason to do them any harm. Besides, you cannot save them by worrying. Focus on the task ahead.
Okay, then there's tutorial messages that pop up. They're generally helpful. Basically, it's telling you, the quest markers, like this is a mandatory objective and your optional ones will have an exclamation on them. And then it's just telling you about the goals and the camera, WASD, right? And then this brings up the quest menu so you can see your optional. And this, by the way, is being tracked. The tracking feature, I guess, doesn't come on until later. But you come up, you can see these different people standing here. Most of them, they just talk automatically when you walk by. This one has the exclamation, which means this is your optional.
You handle the sea better than most. I'm glad. You are not my subordinate. Please, call me Kaiser, if it isn't too familiar. My subordinates call me Kenturio. My superiors call me Aquilinus. My friends call me Kaiser.
Alright, so...
Ah, she did not keep you apprised. Your mother has secretly been making arrangements with the consul. You are to join his command staff as Tribunus. You'll have very little responsibility. The Tribunus of Allegio assist the Legatus while they learn how to command a military organization. You will not see combat, nor will you make any important decisions. You'll be safe, as your mother wanted.
Alright, so then this is where, I'm not here to be kept safe, blah blah blah, I have a reputation. So, if I'm going to follow them around, I'll make myself useful. I mean, it's just... Sometimes it's like they're all cringe. But yes.
Indeed. Military service is mandatory to be elected as Quaestor, but you know that. One word of advice. I know Lucullus is a friend of your family, but remember, he is the consul, elected by the people to rule all of Rome. It's best if you don't act too familiar with him in front of his men. For many years I was the Primus Pellus of Legio Prima Italica, which he commands. He needed someone he could trust to get you out of Rome and keep you safe. I had a brief talk with that gladiator who boarded before us, just to make sure he won't give us any trouble. He seems to have vanished, though. The young man over there, Gaius, is apparently the nephew of the other consul, Marcus Aurelius Cotta. He's here to become a tribunus as well. You should talk to him if you haven't already. I'm sure you'll have much in common. That position has already been filled by one of my centuriones. A good man, easily up to the task. My job now is to watch your back and help you settle into your new life. Happy to be at your service.
Okay, so a little bit more background. This guy is very loyal to us. We're going to find that out soon. And awesome to have him. He's a great character to have with you. Yeah, let's keep going. So, and also they walk faster than us. I don't know why they're walking so slow on this particular scene.
Shh, keep your voice down.
And then, yeah, we gotta talk to this guy over here. Mr. Gaius. And I was gonna say, he keeps walking away from us.
It is a pleasure. I am Gaius Julius Caesar.
Julius Caesar.
Not at all. But I was born in Rome. But they say my
Sorry, I
family
clicked
is
too
from
fast on
Alba
that.
Longa. That's a long story, my friend. Suffice to say, the powers that be are not fond of me. I have decided that staying in Rome could be, shall we say, hazardous to my health. To be honest, this will be my first proper battle. I did study a lot, though, and therefore I am well versed in matters of strategy and tactics. If you don't play an important part, you will be torn apart. My father used to say. I guess that was his way of telling me to be brave and hopefully not stupid.
Just beware the Ides of March. That's all you need to do, mister. So it'll be interesting. We will interact with Julius Caesar several times, and I thought it was a nice touch to the campaign.
What is he looking for?
He's been like this all morning.
What? Yes, Geminus. So, I'm a little preoccupied.
Oh, I said this would never happen again. I'm sorry, I was wrong. It won't happen again after we get past this scene.
You're right. The rowers are getting tired. We should let them rest soon, but that will cause even more delay. Wait. Ah, shit. They're headed straight towards us. They're gonna ram!
Get your father's weapons. Let's see if you can actually fight. Gaius, are you all right?
I'm fine, Centurio.
Form up! Let's get these pirates off our ship!
Okay, I'm going to skip through some of this. They're telling you to put your heavy infantry in front. So, okay, so you have several different classes in the game. They don't highlight those too tremendously much in this tutorial. But here you can see in this blue circle here, I'm a patrician. And if you look up here, it'll show up and say patrician. And it'll have the same, olive branch or whatever you call that. Here, that's a heavy. So that's a heavy infantry, and that's what the symbol is, the shield. This is a support. So think of like a medic type person. And then this is an archer. So, so you can see the different classes, and then of course they all have movement and morale and damage and other things that are going on. So there's a lot to take in, but basically, just like almost like Heroes of Might and Magic. Remember how I told you there's so many different things. You get to place your soldiers. So, for example, as a patrician, I want to set myself, up front more, and then I probably want to switch places with the archer, and I can put the archer further back if I want. But in this case, I don't. I want everybody up front. And then, yeah, once I'm ready, I can hit go. So they're explaining how to do the different things. So I'll try to explain what we just clicked through. So each of your characters is here. This, of course, is us. This is Kaiso, our best buddy. Cineros, it's funny because he's not really even mentioned yet, but this is also a best buddy. He's like think of him as like a advisor or uncle. I think he actually might be an uncle. And then, of course, we have Julius Caesar with us, and he's got the bow. Everybody has skills along the bottom. This should be very familiar to anybody who played XCOM or any other, or even Diablo. Like what the different skills do. It's a turn-based game, so that should be familiar. The only thing to understand is that the red is your health, the red bar. The blue bar is your shields. And then the orange triangle is how many actions you have left. And everybody generally has one action. But if you down somebody, you get a bonus action. So, and then some of these actions along the bottom are free. And you can see, like, as I hover over each one, at the very bottom, you'll see it right here. It says use cost, and it shows a orange triangle. So you can see, like, each of these skills costs a triangle for me. Alright, so, now it's just telling me how to move and attack and all that stuff. So we're going to start with my character. My character, of course, is just a simple guy with a sword. So I'm just going to march straight up. And I can punch him or slash. And so I will go ahead and slash. I did 5 damage. You may have noticed that it highlighted this spot as well. That's because the sword can hit multiple targets. And that's all I do. That's my turn. This 6 is movement points, by the way. So we get to Cineros here. And he's got this skill called Reach. So he can hit from 2 spaces away. And if we do Reach for him, this shows that we should be able to finish this guy off. And we did. So whenever you incapacitate an untrained enemy, you get your attack action back. But you can only use skills once per turn. So if I keep going, which I will, I can't use the same skill I just used, but I can use this one.
You're deadly with that thing.
I've lived other lives before this one.
And then we applied an effect to him. So he has a status effect that's showing up here. Our skill applied weakened to him. So if you ever want to know, like, well, what is weakened and all that stuff, I don't know how to get it to, here we go, maybe, nope. I'm sure there's a Civilopedia or something. Okay, one key thing to understand. I went up, I hit him, but if I try to back away, see how his whole hex turns red? It also turns red if I try to move around him. What that is that's opportunity attack. I'm sure most of you are familiar with that. Opportunity attack being that the enemy will get a free attack on me. So when he had his reach, where he hits from 2 spaces away, that does not generate opportunity attack, and he can easily back off. So it's something you gotta do. I probably did things out of order. I should have probably done my first skill second. So the reach skill that I did back here on this guy should have been used on that guy instead, because then I could have backed up. You don't want your old man up front. Alright, so then we got, I'm going to skip back to Kaiso here, and I'm just going to go straight up to this guy. And one of the things that disappoints me is his back is towards me, but he'll just turn around and engage me. Which I guess helps you too, whenever it happens to you. But now that he's engaged me, I can sneak up behind him with somebody else and get some bonus damage. Then last but not least, we got our archer. He's got several skills that are interesting. This one, of course, is just straight up 4 to 7 damage. Also straight up 4 to 7 damage. But this one is like in XCOM, you know, when you do the Overwatch. So you're going to just Overwatch, and then anybody that moves within your range, you're going to try to damage. So I'm going to get closer, and then we're going to shoot this guy and kill him, and that should give us a bonus action. And then I'm going to go into Overwatch, and then say I'm going to Overwatch this region. So any of these two guys in the back that start moving towards us should get shot. Right, all actions are used. So all I have left is end turn.
Having trouble, friend?
There's one of the Overwatch. Oh, that's right. He only overwatches one person right now.
Where's that gladiator who boarded with us?
Up there!
Never underestimate the value of an impressive entrance.
Okay, so some of the mechanics here. You saw that this guy generated 2 shields at the beginning of the round. The first guy who attacked him only damaged his shields. And the way shields work is you have to deplete the shields completely before you can damage the real health. And so even though his shields are 2, you could do 20 damage to him. It's only going to do 2 shield damage and that's it. It doesn't spill over into the health. Now there is a skill that lets you do that. That skill belongs to one of the classes, but I can't remember which one. But it's very specific is what I'm trying to say. Now, after his shields were depleted though, he got shot by an archer back here who did 1 damage, and then this guy came up and did 2. So that's why you see his health is down by 3. So as soon as the shields are gone, then the health is regular. So it's something you got to keep in mind, because if we're facing somebody with a shield, one-on-one could be really difficult, because every time we hit them, all we're doing is removing their shield and nothing more. So there's a lot going on. We got some NPCs that are, of course, helping us. I have my situation here where I can come up and try to take something down, and that's what I'm going to do here. So we're not going to punch. We're going to do regular attack. So we just did a nice 5 damage. I'm going to learn from my last mistake and use skill number 1 and then get my bonus action, which I'm going to move up and then do reach on this guy. Okay, a couple more things to point out. This guy is still alive. He's knocked down. You could arguably say he's KO'd, but he's moving around, so I think that's probably not the right idea. This guy's dead. This one, what he's doing is he's bleeding out. And eventually he will die, or he can be, saved. So if there's a health person or a medic out here, they can come up and revive him, and then we have to knock him down again. Or, instead of attacking this guy, I could have just killed him. So, do a mercy killing or whatever. Alright, and then this guy has shields. He also has this thing, you can see there's a status right here, and there's going to be different blue notches. See, there's 4 out of 5 blue notches. That's his, they call it strong. So, this skill here will let him apply strong and refill those notches. The strong basically blocks a certain percentage of damage, and this skill in particular gives you deflecting, which is pretty cool. But we're going to go ahead and do the sword because we could hit both of these guys. Right, we downed 1, got an extra action. So we can do a shield push on him, which should kill him, or do that. I'm going to go ahead and do the shield push. Alright, so we just took down our 2. This guy's gone. That one is bleeding. Then I will go ahead and just move up like so. And then we got this dude. This is the gladiator they were mentioning. These guys are pretty cool. They're squishy though. You got to be careful. This is like he's high damage, but also has no shields. So one of the things you want to do is always get next to an archer. Archers can shoot you if they're next to you, but you get to do an opportunity attack on them if they try. And then if they usually, at least with the AI, they always try to get away from you, which gives you an opportunity attack. So just by being next to one, you're really ruining his day. And then the focus is on the other guy. So we're going to do this one. It's called a 1-2. So I select him once, and then I select him again. Because he has weapons in both hands. He was able to hunt him twice, but not enough to kill him. Last thing you might be wondering is, what are those purple bars? That's a skill only for this type of class. I would call these like the rogue class if you were playing D&D. The purple is your, it's called focus. And if there's enough focus, you could use this skill here, which costs focus. Alright, and then we do have some actions left. This guy still has an action, so there's nothing I can do from an attack perspective. All my skills are used up. These, by the way, are not regular attacks or anything. So I'll just reapply strong to myself because it at least gives me deflection. And you can see the ability showed up here. And then we also have our archer who needs to figure something out. And I think I'm going to go ahead and take this guy out. And I did not get a bonus action for that, which is interesting. Okay, so we mark it done. See that opportunity attack I got? I mean, he still did 2 damage to us, but we got a freebie in. Alright, so we can cripple shot, which, I think I like this one better. Alright, so 6 damage. Get our action back. Do the good old 1-2. And then this is a free, or I used a focus on this. And it's a it's an attack I get to do without having the orange triangle. And then now I'm truly done.
Only one remains. This was easy.
There we go. I just finished off 2. We're uninjured. So what is injured and all that jazz? If you ever lose health and get KO'd or knocked to the ground, there's a real good chance you're going to take an injury. And you'll be bleeding out. If somebody doesn't stand you up or stabilize you, is probably the better term, within 3 turns, you die. And if it's the main character, Mr. Bob here, the whole campaign ends. But obviously these other ones, if any of them die, it's really bad news. So, anyways.
Back to Neptune's asshole, barbarians!
That was a very specific place.
Fiakas run us straight into the pirate ambush, Freeman. Allow me to execute him right here and right now. This traitor must be working with them. I will make him pay for his betrayal.
It is quite unusual for pirates to attack any ship, let alone a heavily armed Roman galley. They prefer to attack lightly defended coastal towns instead. It's less risky and more profitable.
Well, let's go talk to the man.
Okay, so before I talk to the man, I just want to talk about something, and this is spoiler mode here. The whole concept of, so the captain was in cahoots with these pirates that just rammed us. So I'm going to be asked whether I want to kill him or not. And it's going to give me a lot of interesting choices and dialogues And let me just say that, like, I chose not to kill him. And then later in the game, he was able to help me to accomplish a mission. And I can only imagine that there's times where you're going to help somebody, and then later in the game, they're going to make you pay for it. But anyways, you'll see what I mean when we get to here.
Geminus, you steered us into a trap.
What do you have to say for yourself?
I had nothing to do with it, I promise. They came out of nowhere.
Silence! You utter nonsense! By Mars, it is the sea! How can anyone come from nowhere?
We cannot execute a man based on no evidence. Besides, we need our Triarchus to make it safely ashore.
What do you say, kid? What do you think we should do?
So you can say, okay, Gladiator, why do you want him
We
dead?
are close to our destination, and we can reach it without him. If there is a possibility that he is working with the enemy, we cannot risk to let him live. Mercy, doubt, hesitation. These are all openings that the enemy can exploit to kill you. This man's value to us is far less than the threat he may pose.
Then we're going to ask Julius Caesar.
We are, many of us, important people, on our way to join the action against Lesbos. Is it not conceivable that the rebels heard of us? The Kingdom of Pontus is known to sponsor pirates, to harass and weaken Rome. I do not believe we have any reason to suspect our Triarchus of colluding with them.
And then we can ask Gaius, or Kaiso, you know, he's the Primus. Why are you not making the decision?
I'm just a humble Canturio, albeit a particularly well-dressed one. Lucullus has greater plans for you. Your father's dead. The time to rely on others to make difficult decisions for you is gone.
Okay, so you have to choose. Kill him or not kill him. There's no in-between. Like, you know, bind him and put him in jail or anything that I would probably want to consider before killing somebody. And then the other option on the other end of the spectrum is completely let him go, even though you have your suspicions. Again, I know I'm spoiling it, but I'm going to just tell you right now, he really was in cahoots with these pirates. We find out later, and I'm going to take you down the path where you'll see it too. It's because I don't have it in my heart to execute this guy. So we're gonna show him mercy. But the thing is at least for this guy in particular, showing him mercy earns his loyalty. So he will serve us very, very well and reward us for this. And like I said, he'll even confess that he was in cahoots with the pirates and it was wrong of him to do. But that's what we're going to do. I'm sure later in the game, it's going to make me pay a price for showing mercy. But let's go.
Very well. We shall spare his life. But remember, mercy is a luxury you will not always be able to afford.
So then there's the I disagree, the cost of mercy is a price I will always be able to pay. Always is a word you never want to do. It's really hard to use the word always. But perhaps, but in this case, we can't afford to lose our Triarchus. We still have to reach Lesbos. And so, I just have a feeling that by pronouncing this island, I'm going to get my ads banned on YouTube. But, you know, I hope that they understand. We're going to go.
A wise choice, my friend. Killing the Triarchus of our ship in the middle of the sea would have been inconvenient. Indeed.
So
Thank you.
Julius
If you
Caesar
ever again
agrees.
need the help of a skilled navigator, I am at your service.
But
Forwards, up the tempo, and keep your eyes open.
so those little things that popped up, every person that reports to you has loyalty towards you. And so what I did was I made the conciliatory and the contemporary ones, they like me more. And then the gladiator guy, who's the aggressive one, likes me less. And so that's you can't win them all. And that's the thing. And so later on, I got to do something different to make the aggressive ones like me more. Um, and so you're constantly balancing these loyalty changes based on the decisions that you make. And then, so the tutorial is, it's partially over. This island of L, just to avoid all the AI algorithms, the island of L, the entire thing is like a tutorial, and we're going to learn, like, more and more game concepts are going to get thrown at us. But at least we understand the XCOM and tactical, hex-based, portion of it. So here we're going to create our class, and the sky's the limit, and I have so much analysis paralysis here. But I do have to take a break 1 second. I'll be right back. Okay, so you have a million choices here. First off, they have, they're called, so this is the name of the class. And then there's 3 subclasses. It's like, so you're a Valus, which is, just think rogue, thief, right? You can be assassins, duelists, or brawlers. And they don't really tell you much. But like the assassin has a whole tree of skills. This has a whole tree of skills, and so does this one. And I don't know if you can ever level up enough that you can master multiple trees. Like I said, I never finished the game. I'm recording this for you after playing this just enough to think that, yeah, this would be pretty cool to cover. So the first part of this is like, you get thrown off by that, right? There's a crap ton of skills that go along with this one. And I honestly couldn't even tell you which one is the best one of the 3. We do have somebody on our team that will be, I think he's a duelist. So we're missing a brawler and an assassin right now. You can go heavy, which this is not a bad path at all. Having the shields is really nice. It gives you a lot of advantages. Just understand that you're probably not going to do as much damage as some of these other ones. So you got the veteran, vanguard, or brace. So in this case, you're and again, each of these has their own set of skills. So like, for example, the veteran and the defender, I've found really great ways of playing those. The vanguard one's a little weird. It's more of a here you can see it says they excel at using their shields as a weapon, which I wouldn't have expected that. The vanguards tended to be more on like the barbarian shout. They would do things to demoralize enemies and stuff like that. The veterans, yeah, they do have these things where it's saying lock down enemies, but it's just like, so you have more like sweeps and things that can knock them to the ground and make it so that it's harder for them to run away. Basically, think of these guys as tanks. If you're playing, World of Warcraft or whatever. And then you have your archer. And the archer, of course, is a whole bunch of stuff. The sniper is not as cool as it sounds. I love the idea of being a sniper. You got a guy that stands back and just takes someone down from 14 feet away or whatever. I say 14 hexes away is what I meant to say. But this one just applies spotted to enemies and reveals traps. And the traps, though, is a good thing to be able to reveal. But it's a really crappy skill most of the time. At least in the early game. I think later on, the part that reveals traps would be good. So, yeah, it's almost like a highly perceptive ranger type thing. But this doesn't do anything to actually damage the enemies. You will get skills from the bow itself. So the bow here, if I press E, has a aim shot and barbed arrow. So that's going to be how you get your damage in, is you're going to do either of those. And then you'll have this skill as a third one that lets you reveal traps. It's not the end of the world. It's, you might be able to get away with it just fine. The hunter two individually selected targets with lower accuracy. So basically, you get to shoot at multiple targets. It's not bad. I never tried it, but it sounds great. The minus 30% accuracy and 30% chance to miss is not very fun. I mean, it's definitely, it's just slightly less than 1/3, but 1/3 is a lot of misses, if you ask me. And then there's the marksman, which I really do love. This is the one that Julius Caesar was, and it has that interrupt, which is the Overwatch skill. That Overwatch skill can be fantastic, and you can upgrade it later to do multiple arrows. So right now it'll shoot the first enemy that comes in their vision cone. You can make it so then it eventually will shoot 2 enemies. I don't think you can go any higher than 2, but 2 is pretty darn nice. So, and then last but not least is you have the Triarius, which is a third line, and they have these long javelins or spears. The medic is a good class. That's what the dude, the old man that's on our team is. The flag bearers are also like the barbarian shout. They do the things that just demoralize enemies or buff allies. So it's a lot of cute skills. Like, plus 20% damage is good. But you need to be near all the allies for it to be useful. And then the destroyer is just an amazing thing to behold. So this is important because healing your people prevents death and keeps them in the field of battle. This is just straight up shredding. And then here's the other thing. Of the 4 classes, this is the only class, at least from the start, that can shred armor. So when you have those shields, right, and those shields are annoying, because you have to attack the guy to get the shields to go away before you can even attack the guy to do actual damage to him. This death blow skill does armor shred, which basically removes 1 armor from them for the rest of the battle. So if they start off with a 3 shield strength, they get reduced to 2 and then 1, and then eventually they have nothing. So you can really do a number on them and reduce their strength. Now, what do you get? We're going to get one of every class eventually. In this at the very start on this tutorial island, we're going to be missing the archer for a little while, but we eventually get one. And so it's going to be myself, and then we're going to have 4 companions. And those 4 companions is, like I said, one of each type. So which types are they? The Kaiso is a defender. This is the gladiator, is the duelist. The archer we eventually get is going to be a marksman. And then the old man Cineros is a medic. So whoever we choose to be, it really doesn't matter. And you would think that since I just said that, that I can make my decision and we can just move on. But nope, I am so torn on which one to be. So in my playthrough that I'm doing outside of this video, I am a veteran. And I love it. That's why I'm torn, because I love this so much I want to show it to you. But at the same time, it's like, well, I want to try something new if I'm going to play this again. So I am going to try something new. So let me pause it and let me figure out what the heck I'm going to do here. Okay, I'm going to be a destroyer. We're going to be a Triarius destroyer. See, I'm still torn though. I cannot tell you how many times having a shield saves you. Because they basically, you go up against somebody, it's almost like blocking on an NFL game. You're blocking someone and basically tying them up so the rest of your team can kill everybody else. And that's the beauty of it. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to be a destroyer, and we're just going to have to go hire somebody else to be the heavy. The destroyer is beautiful, so we're going to go with it. And I just have to hold down. All right, that unlocked the destroyer, and here we go. It is true. There's no time limit. There are times when you need to be in certain places, or it warns you like you're being attacked in the next several days, and you got to have you got to be in a certain spot to defend yourself, or otherwise they automatically win the attack. Um, but here we go. We're on
Gentlemen,
Lucullus.
welcome to Lesbos, the pearl of the Mediterranean.
An ugly nest of pirates.
An impenetrable fortress of pirates, more like. With an infinite food supply thanks to the strength of their fleet.
We shall find a way to limit this infinite supply then.
You think like an imperator, Gaius. All right, people. This is Lucullus's war camp, the heart of our operations in this territory. You have been seaborne for a long time now. I suggest you walk it off. See the things you have to see, and meet the people you have to meet. The consul waits in the command tent. Don't be too late if you don't want to see him angry.
Okay, so again, be mindful if you have multiple quests and you want to track them, you have to select it and tell it to track them. Right now, we still are just one quest. And you can zoom out like that far, and then you got like the ability to change the camera, like so. The WASD works really great for zooming around. This is where we need to go for our quest. There is no time limit. It's not like I need to rush straight there. This camp gets more lively as the game goes on, meaning that there's going to be more things to do. But really, all I have as options is talk to these two people. And I thought there was a third one somewhere. I guess not. I guess not. And it also looks like it's really big, but this is actually the edge. So, you know, once you go to this door here, you're leaving the camp. Alright, so, let's go up and talk to these two people. It's just going to be flavor.
Domine. I am hungry and my face is wind-burned, but at least both of my feet are planted on solid ground now. Besides a good wine, a warm bath, and a thorough massage, not much. Thank you. But you should think about yourself, Domine. I would get used to my surroundings and visit the consul as soon as possible. We're here to accomplish something. Dominus Lucius Licinius Lucullus was a close friend of your father's, and a supporter of your mother's efforts. He is now the closest thing you have to a father.
Dominus Lucullus
You ought to keep
Licinius
this in mind.
Lucullus. Alright, I mean, you can get a little whiny. I don't even like saying it, but just for
To
flavor.
save your life, of course. She firmly believes the Witelli killed your father. Sending you here was the best course of action.
Alright, so we'll say it's a fine...
Most great men of Rome have made names for themselves on campaigns like these, it is true. Such glory can easily be the foundation of a lucrative political career, so long as one returns alive.
Alright, and then we got the
Salwe. I
Beastmaster.
am called Bestia Tabat indeed. You fight well. I noticed it. You may ask, and I may answer or not. I was born in Mauritania, but I am a Roman citizen. Until I undertook this voyage, I fought every single day in the arena. But wars, this will be my first. I recommend you to not die. Honor matters little. He who stands tall in the end will always be the winner. You will fail again and cause the death of someone you care about. And that death will be your doing. Mark my words. They say Lucullus has the greatest military mind in Rome. I only know he is consul and imperator, but I don't understand what that means. Ah, like a king, but temporary. Free of the tyranny of kings, perhaps Romans prefer other kinds of tyranny.
I like the gladiator. I don't
Your
think this...
name is unusual. Tabat is the name that was given to me by my father. Bestia is the name I took when I earned my freedom. I chose it because I have fought and defeated many beasts.
Alright, so like I said, all that was flavor. And then You could walk around and people might utter things, but it's just flavor.
That other legion.
It's like that.
Bit wet behind the ears, aren't they?
Everyone starts out that way.
True enough.
And you
Soon
just
they'll be
gotta go here.
veterans too.
Or they'll be dead.
This is not going to work, as long as the rebels keep receiving supplies by sea.
We will need to cut their supply lines. It's an operation for our occulta speculatoris.
So the before we get into this dialogue, as we were walking up in the automatic stuff, that one guy said, "Or we'll be dead." His voice is exactly the same as the Strategic Mind Pacific game, and he's the battleship commander. So he's the voice for the battleship, for the American battleships. Whenever you move the American battleships, he's the exact same voice. It's like a dead ringer. You could tell. Anyways, I just always think of that game whenever I walk by him. But anyways, so here we are. We're with Lucullus, and as far as I understand, at least with my playthrough, he's a pretty cool guy, and he's on your side. We'll see.
By Jupiter, you sure have grown up, haven't you? This is the promising young man I was telling you about, Thermus.
Quite unassuming, but full of potential, I guess. Prime material for the Speculatores, if he can prove himself.
A special cohort, assembled for particularly daring undertakings.
Soon enough, you shall see the kind of thing they are tasked to carry out.
And again, like some of these are very haughty, if that's the right word. I tend to be, sir, yes, sir, on this stuff. So let's do this.
A trial by fire is what you need. Now pay attention. We've been in a deadlock here on Lesbos for some time now. My co-consul, Marcus Aurelius Cotta, is engaged against King Mithridates of Pontus in the east. Mithridates is using the pirates of Lesbos as his navy.
The fortress of Mytilene here is well protected, but it also has a weakness. There's a mountain pass we can utilize. I will lead the assault myself.
I volunteer for the vanguard. If my uncle can defeat Pontus, I can surely handle Mytilene.
So be it, then. Meanwhile, you will prove yourself as a leader, my young ward. Take Caeso Quinctius Acollinus, your Servus Cineros, and that gladiator who came with you on the ship. You will meet up with Julius Calidus of my legion Speculatoris. Your mission is to sneak into the harbor and destroy the enemy ships any way you can. I expect you have questions.
The Julius Calidus is your archer that you're going to get. All right, sure.
If you're worried about your future political prospects, have no fear. We will tell everyone you served as my tribunus with great distinction. Prove yourself, and you will be able to name your companions. However, you will want Calidus on your team. Trust me.
The rest of these are just whiny. I'm just going to skip.
Wait. Are those your father's old weapons? I'm sure they mean a lot to you, but look. The leather is brittle. This won't do. Visit my smith, Sextus, and get yourself properly equipped before you go.
Okay, so
Solway. Indeed. Staying in Rome became, shall we say, politically disadvantageous to me. That's why I left it. Like you, I've never been to Lesbos before. I did my homework, though, in case you have any questions. Lesbos is one of the most important islands on this sea. Some cartographers call it the Horse Island, on account of its shape. Location, I would guess. The island has countless coves and natural harbors for pirate ships to hide in. Not to mention the massive fortress in Mytilene. Be that as it may, their position here is superior. Mytilene is right next to the sea, and their fleet brings them supplies constantly. It's a stalemate. Of course. fascinating, isn't it? The Legion can build a fortified camp like this almost overnight. In my opinion, that is the foundation of Rome's military might. Does it matter? For the sake of this discussion, let us say he was a traitor. In the end, we are triumphant and the pirates are dead. The Triarchus, if indeed he worked with them, now knows he picked the wrong side. In a war like this, allegiances are rarely about ideology. The common person wants nothing more than to be on the winning side, and we have shown Geminus that the winning side is ours.
So this last option, telling him he's an interesting man, it leads to flirtation, and I don't know, this game has that in there, and it has a lot of similarities to the island of Lesbos. Look, it's your choice, it's your game. I'm skipping it.
Wait. Listen, you seem trustworthy. I may have need for your help on a rather sensitive matter. Your caution is well placed, but the sensitivity of the matter is rather personal in nature. I have tried pursuing a solution myself, but to no avail. I've been keeping a detailed account of our journey ever since we left port. Shortly after our arrival, however, the journal went missing. I believe it to be stolen by one of the Centuriones. I have seen a particular man walking out of my tent. As a matter of fact, I have already confronted him, and he pretty much admitted his guilt. Pain comes in many forms: physical, emotional, and let us say that some men just enjoy inflicting pain in all forms. Roman law is valid in Rome, and our perpetrator knows this. This is a personal matter, and therefore it should be solved personally.
Tell me what I can do for you.
The Centurio is called Agrippa, I think. He hangs out with his friends near the tent over there. I thought perhaps you could convince him to hand over my journal. Needless to say, I would like to keep the contents of the journal private. I would appreciate if you'd refrain from reading it.
Alright, so we got our missions. And now we finally, I think, have two of them up here. So we have the trial by fire, right? And then we also have the journal. And here you can click on track quest. And there's the journal, for example. So I'm coming down and I'm going to speak to this guy first.
Salve, Legionari. If you're here to get your weapons fixed, you must have me confused with Vulcan.
This is another flirtatious one with forearms like that and such a lustrous beard. Can you blame me for making the mistake? Again, your game. I'm skipping.
Was he buried with them? This leather is fossilizing. Help yourself to any of the gear on the racks. Take all of it if you need it. I have enough work on my hands right now supplying the consuls Centuriones. You'll have to bring your own materials if you want any work done. I've nothing...
Okay, so that was saying you can interact with objects. And this could be... like, you can completely miss this. But if you hold down the left alt key, see how they're highlighting and non-highlighting? Left alt key will highlight something you can pick up. This does as well, but you're going to be doing this the whole time, right? Because none of these... So if I hit the left alt key, none of these highlight up, but this does. So that's what it's telling you to do. So we're picking up items here, and there's 3 of them to take. And it's just telling you that those are in your inventory. So we go into the inventory. And basically, you got 4 things to do up here. It's not just inventory. And then, of course, we have 4 characters in our party so far. So, just looking at me alone, the exclamation points are new items. So you could just do that and then they go away, right? I can filter just on certain things. And they're also filtered on newest. But I wish I could set it to default to quality instead of newest. I always want to know what the highest quality ones are, because this inventory gets crazy. So then I just take this and I put this here, and it highlights in red where it would go. And you can always left control to compare them. So right now I have 1 armor instead of 0. And my movement is lower though. It took 3 movement points away from me, but my resistances are up 4% and my health is up looks like by 3. Alright, and then I have 2 staffs to choose from. I only get to pick 1. And that's the biggest issue here. I am using a sword, but I remember I chose to do the one thing. So this one has an armor shred. Well, here, we got to compare them. So skills at the bottom are assigned by your weapon. And sometimes you get additional skills, like you can open this up and choose which ones you want to use just by dragging and dropping. So here we go. There's our comparison between the two. And you can see there's differences. So one's a worn pike, the other's a worn staff. And then the differences are in the skills. So this one has the bludgeoning damage, and both of them do armor shred. And this staff looks like that you have to be up close and personal for both attacks. I can't stress enough how much the ranged attack is better, because you can go up, you can slap somebody, and then run away, all in one turn. And running away is important because, you know, you get these guys that do a lot of damage and they swarm you, and you can go down. So I think I made the right choice. Let's make sure. This one is a 3 hex extend. Target cannot be nearer than 3 hexes. So this is hitting somebody more than 3 or more hexes away. This is crazy. And then the other one has a range of 2 hexes, right? It's the hamstring one. And both of them also shred and do 5 to 7 damage. So if I'm looking at the two, the damage is the same either way. This one does apply weakened to enemies, which weakened... The only thing I really don't like is, like, if I want to see what the weaken does, I don't know what I'm supposed to press to keep that up. But it applies weakened, and then the other one just says that if they're already weakened, then they'll be knocked down. And it's not horrible, but this one's much more up close and personal. Alright. There's a triage. This is in case anybody's injured. And of course nobody is, so you don't see anything. The injured people would be on the left, and those who can help them would be on the right. You do have 20 medicine in the game, which will be, it's a resource that's used to help with injuries. The skills themselves, this is what I was talking about. The circles are passive, the squares are active, like actual skills you're going to get to click on. And so I chose the destroyer path, right? So I have 1 point in the death blow skill. That's what this is. And you can see these are the trees, right, that each of them unlock. And then, of course, these are our stats. And then you have perks and personality. And we'll talk about the perks are especially important. The personality I pay less attention to, but it's probably also important. So, for example, Kaiso or Queso chips and dip here. First of all, you'll see how much armor they have and movement, etc. And, you know, we're pretty much equal there. But he has personality here and the perks. So the perks are what I pay the most attention to. He reacts twice as strong to any actions he approves of. And he is very strong. And so the deterioration risk of untreated injury is down by 1 level. Here, he likes partying. He likes it when you question or disregard the gods. And he values openness and truthfulness. So when you're in dialogues with him, those are the things you want to do. Or if you're in dialogues with like another person and you got multiple choices, you know, his loyalty towards you will grow if you choose the right things, that line up with his tastes. And as you can see, he is loyal right now. And then Cineros is devoted. And you can see he's conciliatory, humble, and sexist. So he doesn't like women. Or at least not treating them as equals. And then here he can heal himself. So if he gets injured, he can heal himself. Or he can heal others, because he's a doctor. And then Bestia here is honest, arrogant, and warmongering. And then he has the recruiter skill, which is an interesting skill that we can't use quite yet, but it'll come in later. And then Constitution. Alright, I'm probably over elaborated on all the things, but just understand. So this guy, he's a Velos. He has basically dual wields weapons, a little spear and a short sword. Cineros is the same as us. He has a Roman staff, and you can see he has reach, which does 2 hexes. It's saying that this one's better because it does 1 extra damage. Because it does 5 to 7 instead of 4 to 7. So that is an interesting dilemma. But this one, like we said, doesn't have the reach thing anymore. And I can't stress enough, since this guy's like your medic, you don't want him locked into, if he walks up to somebody, yeah, that 1 extra damage is super critical whenever you're only going to do up to 7 so far. But it's the minimum damage. It's not the average or the maximum. It will make the average go up. But anyways, I just reiterate that even though it probably is a better staff, the reach is just a better skill. So I'm going to stick with that. And then, of course, the heavy has a shield. And this one only has 2 strength, which is pretty weak. And a sword, 3 to 5 damage. And then, of course, everybody has a helmet and armor. He has heavy. We have strong. This one has medium, etc. Okay, so we're gonna get out of this. Oh, one other thing to show. This is your money. Slaves are used to build things in your camp. We can't build anything in our camp yet, but we will be able to soon. And then rations is your food. You always have to feed everybody. Okay, let's go do this.
We're in the middle of something, Tribune. What do you want? This? Ah, but this is priceless. A journal written by Cotter's stupid nephew, who thinks of himself as the greatest commander history has ever seen.
Okay. So, remember we agreed not to read the journal? I thought I was going to be cute and ask him to tell me what's in the journal. And that way, because I technically didn't read it, you get burned if you do that. So, make your choices wisely.
Why don't you send him back here to beg for it again?
Okay, so we can pay him. Money's tight in this game, so don't pay him. I can do this, which I have no idea where that will go. And then I have the logos, right? I took the logical reasoning, so I get the uber advantage here.
All right. I guess you rich kids stick together. Take it, and let's not speak of this again.
And just like that, we are done. I know they showed the dots,
How long
but
are they going to keep us here?
these people don't have anything additional to say. See?
I came here to kick Mithridates' arse, not to sit on the beach day in and day out waiting for something to happen.
So we come back, talk to Mr.
Solway.
Caesar.
I see you have successfully retrieved my journal. May I ask how you managed it?
So I was honest last time. I said he was being unreasonable, but I'm sort of tempted to say everything has a price to see if he'll give me the 300. I do have people in my party that value honesty, so I'm just going to use honesty.
What can I say? I'm not surprised. One last question before we're done. Did you read my journal?
I'm curious about it, but no, I respect your wishes.
That is the most virtuous thing to do, and I expected nothing less of you. Thank you, my friend.
And then we gain experience points, which, I think there was a tab somewhere. Yeah, here. You can see they get to 100, they level up. So if you do read the journal or have the other guy read the journal, there are some really funny entries. And of course the other guy's making fun of him. Oh, you did hoity-toity. And so it's just embarrassing stuff, and Mr. Caesar here has a very grandiose view of himself. Alright, let's go back to Lucius Licinius Lucullus.
Salve, son. Do you need anything?
Alright, yeah, let's thank him.
That is unnecessary. I just wish your father could see you like this. He would have been proud. Your father was like a brother to me, and as such, you are like my own child. Not everything is a balance sheet. Some matters are just personal. Pontus is a strong nation. They have conquered Colchis, Cappadocia, and Bithynia, and these conquests have made them bold. Mithridates himself is a fascinating figure. They say he has rendered himself immune to poison. We served together under Cornelius Sulla in the Social War. He was the most talented spy I've ever known. The Social War was nasty business. Rome fighting her own allies. Most people would rather forget. But I believe we must never run from our past. Lesbos has rebelled against Rome. We call them pirates for political reasons, when in reality these people are organized much like a navy. They are allied with Mithridates, Megas of Pontus. He is without a doubt the most dangerous enemy Rome has faced since Hannibal. My mentor, Cornelius Sulla, defeated him some years ago when he first invaded our province of Asia. Mithridates exploits the ebb and flow of the conflict between the factions of our Senate. He strikes when Rome is divided, like a vulture circling a wounded wolf.
Okay, so just more flavor. And my goodness, when I'm waiting for the audio to finish, this game is going to take 3 times longer than whenever I play it, because I'm like click, click, click. Let's leave, because that's where the real quest is. Alright, so yes, we are going to do the world map. There's a timeline up here. These little symbols represent that that's time we're going to eat food. And you can see there's water and food here. 1 ration every 8 hours. And also, if there was something like, hey, they're going to be attacking you, that'll show up on the timeline as well. And you can change the speed. I actually have never gone beyond 1x. I'm sure as you get more comfortable, you can speed it up. And this is how it looks. So right now, the Legion of Prima Italica is here. So Lucius Lucullus is there with a legion. This is us. We're here. And then this is the Legio Victrix, which is the legion of the guy who said that he wanted to attack through the pass. Right? Now these other things that are on the map are things that we could interact with. This, for example, will give us experience. That is a box of items. So we can do all of these types of things. And eventually you're going to have control over the legion, and then they can move around. Like, for example, to have this legion attack here, if you controlled the legion, you could click on this, and then the legions would actually march, and then there would be a huge battle. between those troops. So those are the kind of things that you could do. But right now we don't have a legion, it's just us. And so we're going to go ahead and walk to the warehouse, which is the next quest, and meet this Julius Calidus. And you can see at 1x, it's moving a little slow. You could always speed it up, but I'm okay with 1x. And then enter. This is just saying I need to select who's going to come with me. And I'm selecting everybody, and they're locked, meaning that this particular mission requires me to use them.
We might be at the wrong spot. There's no one here.
Lucullus is clearly mistaken. If there was someone here, I would know.
That's a very useful skill.
Hey, don't move.
Calm down. I am Julius Calidus of the Occulta Speculatores of Legio Prima Italica. I presume you are my reinforcements.
So, that's her name. It is a her, in case you're wondering. That's the basically thing. She's a spy, and this is the Legion. So,
the only way I can think of to destroy a navy on foot is to burn it down. Some Greek fire sure would be useful for that, wouldn't you say? Conveniently, there is a whole warehouse full of it right down there. Unfortunately, the moment we move into that warehouse, they will sound the alarm. So, we should be quick. By the time anyone comes from the city, we're long gone. There's a small camp of sentries just down this hill. If we hit them first, they won't show up as reinforcements.
But then the ones inside the warehouse will hear the fighting and be ready for us.
You have touched the matter with a needle. The choice is yours, Prime.
So, this is pretty common. There's more than one way to, like, win your mission. I don't want to say that it's, always profound, but, they do like to at least give you some nice choices. And so, yeah, we basically have a 5-person party, and I now have an archer in my midst, and we can, check out. Oh, she's not showing up yet. Now there is a fog of war, and you got to move around a bit to make the fog of war disappear. And I believe this is the camp they were talking about, that we can take these guys out, and that would be less reinforcements for down here. But then the folks down here will be ready for us. Or we can go surprise the folks down here, and these reinforcements here will come towards us. So I'm going to go ahead and let's just go down here. There is one guy there. As soon as he spots us, it would be a battle. Or I can go up the stairs and try to go in like this way, which would lead to some battles of different kind. I'm gonna just go right here.
Roman soldiers! They're here to steal the fire! To arms! Keep them away from those jars! Mittelene depends on us!
Okay, so I don't know where the guy went that was standing here, but he definitely went somewhere. We can see there's a guy up here. There's one down there and one there, and that's all we can see. There's more. So this can be a really challenging battle. Obviously I'm going to put myself up front. We got our one and only armored guy, which I'll put there. Bestia, and then our archer there. Okay, so this is the battle. It started. Anything in green I can move and still attack. Anything yellow is just move. You can think of it as running if you're familiar with XCOM, this should be not a new thing. So this building has one person in it, and this is our guy with reach. So I'm going to come in. I'm just trying to say he has cover because he's near some objects. I don't think it matters because of the angle I'm attacking. So I'm going to attack him with reach. Then I still have just a slight amount of movement points left, but it's just enough to get out of the way. Then I can bring my character in and do something similar, but you can see I have a whole lot less movement points, which is unfortunate. What's that skill that you can't be nearer than 3? Target must be within 3. I don't understand that. Full damage regardless of distance. See, once I go to yellow, I can't attack anymore. So maybe I wasted my turn there. I could have maybe done something a little more interesting. But what I'll do instead is I'll just move, get out of the way, and then prepare for when they come through this door. So we have Bestia, who he has the same problem. Not enough movement points. And then we have our archer. They need to have line of sight. If they attack anybody with shields, it's no bueno. The shields will deflect all the archer shots. Alright, so we got ourselves a kill. And then I just come up here and I'm going to put interrupt down and basically attack anybody that comes through there.
I'll shoot as soon as I see them.
I got one guy left. I would like to block anybody who comes in. There we go. The archers are so annoying.
We'll face them together.
Okay, so a lot of walking around, a lot of positioning. I did take some damage here with Bestia, which is pretty normal, and like I said, lots of damage, but squishy. So I'm going to just come up, and you can see we have the 3 shields, so we're going to do the 1-2, and hope that one of them busts a shield and the other one gets through. And that was not the case. Both hits remove the shield, and that was it. So now we got ourselves here. Yeah, so you have to be 3 spaces away for that. That's so interesting. Never had that skill. Archers can't do opportunity attack, so you can squeeze all the way in. And then use your arrow. See how it's highlighted here and here? It's highlighted in both of them. So now that Archer's screwed, he tries to get away. He'll get an opportunity attack. And then everybody else can pile in. Use the reach. And then our archer would be nice because these guys are coming. But I think I need the archer's help. because we still didn't finish that guy off. And then you can see all my actions are gone. He's a heavy, so heavies have a lot of hit points, and they're hard to take down. And that was me doing an opportunity attack. Bestia's getting the crap beat out of him. A lot of guys.
They walk into our trap. Mitilene is sending peasants to stop us. They don't stand a chance.
Okay, so over here, we do have a medic, as we mentioned. And you might be wondering, where's the medic skills? Well, if you hit Q, you have to go unarmed, and then the medic skills pop up. So he's got the ability to add health to a target, prevent the target from making an attack of opportunity so they can run away, or you can remove effects like bleeding, burning, knockdown. So of course we want to do the soothe pain, and so we'll click on this, and on Bestia.
Take care of me, and I shall slay many of your foes.
No permanent damage.
So we gave Bestia 4 health back, which he desperately needed. So this guy's got the shields again, but he has 2 of 3. So he regenerates 2 per round, even though he has the ability to have 3. What we're going to do is we're going to use our character and do the sweep again. Right, so 5 damage to this guy. We got rid of his shields. And then we can do our thing. Right, we killed one, and now Bestia can come in. And we're going to do the 1-2.
This is all too easy.
Now they could they get a skill point back. So now they're going to move up and do precise stab. And then this is a free attack. I mean, it costs focus, but I mean it's free in terms of it doesn't cost action points. So he's down to 3 health. Now, I still have an archer with an action, and I can come down here and position myself to take these 3 out, or I can come up here and finish this guy off. So I think, given my current situation, I'm going to go here and just do a normal attack, finish this guy off. Now you saw this guy swipe him down. They can support each other, and sometimes if a guy's trying to run away, then of course opportunity attack occurs. Alright, so I did all that, and she still has an action to boot, so we're going to go ahead and put in our
this angle.
Overwatch, and there you go, end turn. Taking a lot of damage now. There's the Overwatch. Okay, so the moving out with Bestia was probably not the Bestia idea. Alright, I do have Fire Arrow, which I don't want to use yet. We're going to go ahead and do an aim shot on this one. That gives me another action. Fire Arrow would be perfect on that one, but I'm going to do Interrupt.
I'm covering this area.
Like so. And then this out here. This is my guy with the shield. So I have him come out. Do some damage there. I'm still unarmed. I can do this skill over and over again. And I am. I gotta get 4 more health on this guy.
I need someone to help me here.
Please follow my finger. Yes, you'll be all right.
That's the Roman version of pull my finger. And then there's us. So we have an archer here, and I'm going to go here first. We're going to hamstring that armor or archer, which makes him stuck. And I'm out of movement points. Dang it, because yeah, now he's going to be able to shoot me. But that's okay. Better me than Bestia at this point. Now Bestia does have an action, and we probably need to get her out of the harm's way, or him. I said her. So I will go up, do a precise stab,
The last of them. Truly.
which does knock him down. We can go up after this archer, but now we're getting into dangerous. Where can I hide? I will go here and hide behind some, so I get some armor. That's what those little shields represent. Yeah, they're going after our medic. See, the enemy's not being super aggressive. They're hiding around the corner. They're doing sneaky stuff. I mean, I don't want to say it's great AI, but it's fairly decent. Alright, so again, we're getting into our situation here. So I also have Marking Strike. I have lots of skills, and then I have my Death Blow, of course. Now, they all do the same damage, but this one does extra damage if they have any of those statuses. Right, all I had to do is kill one more guard to make them retreat. And it doesn't matter how much damage you took, you're uninjured, but if you fall, there's a very high chance you're going to have an injury. And when you do fall, you don't stand back up either. You can have somebody come up and treat you, which stabilizes you, so you stop bleeding, and that just means you don't bleed to death. If 3 turns go by after you fall and nobody, stabilized you, then you die permanently, and that's exactly a mechanic from XCOM. Slightly different, because the bleeding thing is not always what happens when you fall in XCOM, but you get the idea. I do think there's a skill further down the medic track that will stand you back up, though.
We make a good team. Let's get our hands on that Greek fire before anyone else comes to check on this place.
Alright, so now they give you like this urgency. Don't believe it. You got all the time in the world. Hold down the left alt, or press the left alt just one time. Oh, none of that's working. What's going on? There we go. See how things are highlighting? Just tap the left alt one time. Make sure everything's highlighting. And then go around and pick up all the items. So here we got 208 bucks and armor. And you gotta find them all. It's like Pokemon. And then this one looks like it's an item, but it's just a freaking bench that you sit down on. This here is an item. And sometimes the enemies you kill will have items too. Like, they'll be highlighted. And unfortunately, none of those were. See, there's one here. And while they're walking to go pick that up, I'm just looking around for more. There's one way back there. You gotta be careful because they're sneaky. I thought I saw one in here. Oh, this is our mission. So let's go do that one. And see, they do move a little quicker this time around.
Be careful with those jars. The liquid inside is highly volatile. It'll make quick work of those ships.
This was the easy part. Now we have to sneak into the harbor and burn the ships.
And then we have to sneak back out, one
Here, level up.
supposes.
Not necessarily, but ideally.
I think I can speak for all of us when I say that we would all like to retain our lives.
Okay, that's another one of those chairs. And this was the only mission, by the way, that I ever ran into chairs being highlighted. Everywhere else, whatever's highlighted, it's always good stuff. So some of these are crafting materials. So you need to collect as much of everything as you can. And when you go into your inventory now, obviously there's more choices. And I'm just making all the exclamation marks go away. This is a quest item. These are crafting items. We do not have the ability to craft anything yet. That comes later. This gets to what I was telling you about. Like, there's mechanics that just keep coming at you. So the crafting mechanic will come. Tacticals are like your handheld, stuff. Talismans are just, metal or medallions. They usually just give you skill bumps. And then, of course, you got your weapons here. And you could hover over each one and study them. But and some of these have unique skills. Like, these are both swords. They look exactly the same. This is a Gladius one, and that's a Gladius one. But look at this one. It has just 2 to 5 slashing damage, right? This one has a gouge that does extra damage for bleeding. And a slash. So it's really crazy how they both have the same thing. And look, here's a third one that has lunge and slash. So you gotta, like I said, you gotta just be super careful because all three of those are Gladius ones, yet they have different features on them. Now, the arrows are down, and if you're playing quickly, that's all you need to look at. But like, for example, this guy has a sword, and it just does 3 to 5 slashing damage, and that's it. And you saw that, right, when we were playing. Well, now there's some upgrades here, and it's actually saying that this sword is an upgrade because it does do 1 extra damage, and you can compare them. What's crazy, though, is the Gladius on the left does 3 to 5, but this one has a bigger range, so it goes to 2 to 6. So it's saying that this one's better for that reason. But we could argue that this one's better because it has 2 skills on it, and the other one only has 1. Then, of course, there's a dagger, and he could also use a spear. But we're going to do this one. We'll put it on. And then this one, you just got to push this to get back to his thing. And so there we go. We can grab the spear. And this particular one has concussive strike, heavy blow, and reach. Right, the reach is the one you really want. The heavy blow is always good, but yeah, that's way better. We'll go ahead and put that on. And then Bestia here, I think that was a dagger, and these are daggers. So we'll go ahead and improve the dagger there. And she also uses a spear, so she could have. There you go. So this Doru one will go there. Then what it's saying is I have 4 skills, but I can only use 3. So which ones do I want? This one costs me no action points. It's a free thing, but I only get 3 uses per mission. Let's see, we got thrust that applies bleeding. This would go very well with the other one that does damage with bleeding, right? So there's some synergy. Backstab. If I'm flanking, I do 100% damage. And then that's that 1-2 that we were dealing with before, where you get to go 1-2. This one does just as much damage as the 1-2. So I'm actually going to put the thrust in instead of the 1-2. And we will do all 3 of those as our skills. And then, of course, our archer has some skills, but nothing else. Now, I'm focusing on weapons. We also have armor. So if we go up, like this particular person has a helm that's better and better armor, etc. Okay, skills. How do I know we all leveled up? That's what this little symbol here is. That means, and you can see when we hover over it, it says unspent skill points, so everybody leveled up. And if I'm going down the destroyer path, this stuff unlocks later, but it at least shows you what they do. So this thing is the death blow. If I upgrade it, it adds plus 50% damage against a target who's crippled or stuck. This here gives me just extra critical chance, which I think is really good. A plus 5 and a plus 10. This gives me 1 extra armor shred, so it's helpful against those guys with shields. And then this one is a quick lunge, which I don't know if that costs an action. See, like this one says use cost. See, so it shows an orange diamond right here. There's an orange diamond. This one does not use an orange diamond. So it's like a free action. Oh, I see. It's a free action, but see, there's 3 uses of it. See the little 3 dots here? So it's basically 3 times you get to do a quick lunge with a range 2. It just does 1 to 2 damage and puts crippled on enemies. So why is that important? Well, if I put crippled on the enemies, this thing, if I upgrade it, has plus 50% damage against a target who's crippled. So you can see how these two have synergy. And then this thing with the critical chance is just amazing. And then the armor shred, like all these skills are good. That's why I chose this one. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the quick lunge. And bam, we got ourselves a second skill. These two are passive, so they don't take skill slots, they just automatically happen. Now, as you know, this is not as useful until I upgrade this one. So I need to level up again. So now we get to this guy who's got the defender. Plus 10 to all resistances. This is good to keep you from going on fire, like somebody shoots a fire arrow at you. This one helps to improve if your shield gets broken. Store 1 extra armor if you do your brace. And then this one would give you 2 additional stacks of strong. Out of all these, the best one is actually the resistance. Great, this is our medic. So right now he has the ability to give everybody movement points. And this one will help him to remove conditions on people. But we want the field medic. This is going to give plus 25% more health when he restores healing. And then Bestia is the duelist. This grants 4 focus at the beginning. This skill requires focus to use, so basically at the beginning of the game, you'll have enough focus to use it. This applies dodging. It is a skill you have to spend. It's a focus point spend. 50% chance that they will miss you, basically. And then Bloodthirsty gives you extra damage, so after you kill somebody, you're going to do more damage to the next person you hit. Out of the 3, I actually like the focus. And like I said, I really like this this Overwatch. There's a 100% critical chance if they're next to you. But be careful. When they're next to you, they get a opportunity attack. This one, basically you push them 1 target away from you. Which is important, right? Because if they're next to you, you could use this skill to push them away, and then you could shoot them. But out of all these skills, though, this is the better one to start with. Like, this gives you a bigger interrupt cone, but right here, you get to attack 2 targets instead of 1. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And that's it. We leveled up. We did our mission. Assuming I didn't miss anything other than these chairs, we now got to get out of Dodge. And one thing I like about the game is they usually have horses stationed in multiple places, but I guess they don't in this one. We're going to come all the way back. Now this was the camp where those guys were, and I don't think there's anything in the camp. Let's just make sure. And sometimes things don't show up until you get there and remove fogs of war, like up here. And as long as I have the yellow highlight, I know that the highlight stuff is on. Alright, so yeah, none of that. We're moving all the way back to our camp. Alright, so the next thing they want us to do is go here. They want us to burn the ships, basically. So if we can burn the ships using our new Greek fire, then that'll cause the Legion that's here to be in a precarious position. So before we do that, I'm going to... And by the way, spacebar pauses or unpauses. So we just gained 50 experience points, all of us, which is awesome. That makes us halfway towards leveling up again. And here's 2 more items. And then we can click there and finish the deal. Once again, everything's locked. Eventually you do get to select who joins you.
We made it here unnoticed. So far, so good. Now we just need to get through that gate with the Greek fire. Just one guard. Let's you and I go up there and deal with him, Pre-Med.
As you command.
I will keep my head on a swivel.
Okay, so they're going up to get ready to bring the Greek fire into the area. This is scripted, meaning I don't have to do anything fancy. But I'm going to go ahead and end the video here. So I'm going to save the game. And we'll go ahead and save Bob. And then we'll come back to this in the next video. Thanks for watching. Stay awesome.